Pray to the tech gods.
Yeah.
Are we on? If you're already here, no, you're not.
Pray
Okay.
to the tech gods.
Right. They can see all of us
Yeah.
and
That
not.
was weird.
And not. Are we on?
It's got a delay.
Here, no, you're not. Okay. I'm gonna turn my speakers off. Can everybody just say something so I can make sure we're all at the same level?
Something.
Hi, everyone.
Okay. They can see
Okay.
all of us
Yeah.
and
That was
not.
weird.
And not. Are we on? I hope that took care of the problem.
Well, I can't hear any more
no.
scary ghosts, so.
Okay. I cannot watch the stream. So we're just gonna hope that it works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right, no echoes from me.
Okay. No, I'm echoing.
I'm only visible from the nose up. Now you can see my boobs. God.
Are you echoing, David? Is it just me that's the problem?
I think it might be me. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Anyone got any troubleshooting advice for how to deal with the echo?
I think we just can't watch the stream because otherwise it's gonna echo.
I'm not watching the stream. I'm
Yeah,
still
me
getting echo.
either.
I mean, I could talk over it. I'm used to ignoring my own voice at work.
Okay, that's probably better. Okay. Right. So now do we just like stare awkwardly for another 2.5 minutes? I guess so.
Another 2.5 minutes.
Frantically Google how to stop echo on Discord. Sound settings. Nope, Alice, come do it.
Wait, are you still
Right,
echoing?
can anybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. I can't hear me at all, so.
Can you hear us?
Oh, I also can't hear you. That won't work. Okay, let's try that. Nope, still echoing.
Can I hear you? Nope.
Oh, you're muted.
That's because I am a potato. Right. I can't deal with the echo.
It's not that
We're
bad.
just gonna have to deal with it, I think.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, well,
All right.
it is 8 o'clock.
Hello, everyone in our audience.
Hi.
If we have an audience, we are collectively the technical difficulties.
Sounds like a band.
I know, right? So, we should probably introduce ourselves.
What order?
Okay.
David, you
Okay.
go first.
Okay.
Or Claire, go first.
I'm David Mumford. I am co-chair of Unconfined, and I have been very much looking forward to discussing this book.
I'm Claire Cartwright. I'm co-head of programme for Eastercon 27, and I'm going to be trying very hard to be completely normal about this book that did not consume my life or change my worldview or anything.
I'm Kate Wood. I'm doing member services for Eastercon 2027, and I'm not going to try at all because I am not normal about this book. I cannot be normal about this book. Sorry.
Okay.
All right.
There's a couple of warnings we need to give before we start.
Yep.
One is the spoiler warning.
Yep.
This book's been out since 2023. This chat is going to have spoilers in it. There's no way to discuss the book without spoiling it, I'm afraid. The second one is that I will read out the trigger warnings from the first page of the book. Some Desperate Glory contains sexist, homophobic, transphobic, racist, and ableist attitudes, sexual assault, including discussion of false pregnancy, violence, child abuse, radicalization as child abuse, genocide, suicide ideation, and suicide. We are going to be these themes on the call tonight. Please look after yourself.
I would just like to add a couple which weren't in the original list, which are cults and coercive control.
Yeah, oh, that's true. Yeah.
So, after dropping that bomb, I really love this book.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, for all those things, I thought it was a really... For a debut novel, it is very, very assured, and like it doesn't feel like a first novel.
Not at all, no.
Mm-mm. Wait, is this actually Emily Tesh's first novel?
Yeah, she had 2 novellas out before this,
right. Yeah.
Silver in the Woods and it was the Green Hollow
Drowned
trilogy.
Country, apparently.
That's the one.
According to the back of my extremely fancy copy of this book.
But yeah, for a debut novel, you would never know if it didn't say it on the back.
I just realized when David picked up his wine that I forgot my wine. I will be right back.
Oh,
Okay.
David, do you want to talk about what you loved about this book?
Yeah. The thing that I loved most was the kind of reversal of the like school or academy narrative, like the way that it's introduced as being a like high school or academy thing. Like, you know, you could be forgiven for thinking that it was like another Harry Potter or like whatever, that kind of narrative, because it starts in a school setting, like an academy setting, but then it goes on to become something much more adult and disturbing, and there's more going on than, oh, this person is leader of the Sparrows and this person is in the black. Like, there's a lot of these different sections, I suppose, like different houses. If that's what you want to call them. But that's not really what the book's about. And it becomes very obvious very quickly that you're not dealing with something that is quite that kind of dry. There's a lot more going on.
I haven't even picked up on
really love
the linear element of it, really. Because it goes into the other stuff so fast.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The way that you lose innocence as a reader along with the characters.
By about chapter 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just keeps getting worse.
Yeah, you've got this rivalry presented in the first few pages of her with this other girl in her cohort, and it becomes clear very, very quickly that that wasn't going to be a plot.
Yeah.
Like, these are kids who are essentially forced to be adults from very, very young because they're being raised in this fascist Girl Scout academy.
And forced into competition, just, knowing that you have to be the best or you're going to be the brood cow, essentially.
Yeah, there's no camaraderie in that group of girls at all.
Oh, not at all. No. And even the ones that nominally like each other, it becomes such a contest.
Yeah, and even the two that are nominally in a relationship, when they get their assignment and one of them just leaves without even saying goodbye, it's
I just had a thought and it wandered in and then wandered straight back out. Oh yeah, at what point did you realise that the main character that we're following is such an unreliable narrator? Because I didn't pick up on it nearly as early as I should have.
It was clear she was an asshole from pretty much page 2, but the sheer unreliable narrator element wasn't that clear for a while.
I think the first time I picked it up around chapter 4, chapter 5. On the reread, I had it at page 10.
Okay.
It's pretty much as soon as she mentions the nursery that you go, this person ought to be thinking and feeling differently about that, and she clearly is.
Yeah.
The thing is, at the start, it's presented so wholesomely, and it's not until they're at the party and there's like this old dude slavering over her friend that it becomes clear that this is not wholesome.
Yeah, I think that's like page 50.
Yeah, something like that. I think I marked
that's
it out.
the point where her friend Lisabel is in the nursery and the Admiral comes in and he takes her arm, and it's kind of the first crack in here. The first time when maybe she's not going to be the ultimate fascist Girl Scout, because she sees that man touch her friend and says, if you ever put a hand on me, I will break your wrist. That's the first sign of disobedience in her.
But it's not, if you touch my friend again, I'll break your wrist, though.
No, it's not. That takes way too long for her to get to.
Yeah.
I mean, not too long. From a writing point of view, the pacing is perfect.
Yeah.
But from a what the hell's wrong with you? Why can't you see what is happening here point of view? Yeah, it takes too long. But that's the thing about brainwashing, isn't it? They've been raised since basically birth to believe that this strata and the society is right and good, and that they have to obey or everything will fall apart. So it rings true, even when you're seeing how awful it is and how she should be seeing through it.
Yeah, but also I think back to my own teenage experience and being told to stay out of somebody's reach or he'll make a grab for you. And at 17, I was like, okay, I'll stay out of his reach. And at 40-something, I'm like, that's messed up. That's not okay.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it took me to 40 to make that realization, but I didn't understand it at 17. It was just the way it was.
Yeah, her view of this is just the way it is, it persists. I think she gets to like page 200 before she decides she's going to make a change. That's fully halfway through.
Yeah. And even well into the book, she's aware that she still has these ingrained patterns of thinking.
There is a moment on page 150. She's on Chrysothemis. She's in the living room of her sister who fled from the man who was abusing her and got her pregnant. Let's not pull any punches yet. And she's standing there and saying, I could stay here. I could stay with my family. I could be happy. All it will cost me is my war. No, I'm going to go and fight. I'm going to go and give my life for humanity and for the station. And you're thinking, no, you were so close.
Of course, if she had it, would have been a much shorter book.
It would, yeah,
we know. Had the
but that was the bit when I was
second half of the
really
story. Yeah.
But I mean, like, ultimately, if she had chosen family over the war, it would have been a much shorter novel, yes, but also she wouldn't have come to the same realizations that she comes to by the end of the book.
Yeah.
So yeah,
she would have left her girls behind to die on
absolutely.
that stage.
Yeah.
And I think she also never would have really fully realized that the thing that had happened was, at least in this construction, the best outcome, or at least the only outcome that didn't lead to the total destruction of the universe twice.
What did you think of the wisdom as a narrative technique? I thought that was fascinating. The idea of having essentially playtest alternative realities. I hadn't ever come across that before, but I'm not as widely read as some people.
I thought it was deeply disturbing, actually. Especially the whole thing with the Agauge and the whole every time you run this scenario, 14 billion people die.
She doesn't know that at that point, does she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like she has no compunction about it at all. She's like, need to run it again because I've not beaten it. I think she only really gets it towards the end when Abby kills them. Like, what did you just do?
Yeah.
I think that's the point of the chick that's in her head that she's like, actually, this is messed up.
Can we talk about Abby and Abby's? Because I find Abby just what a character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somehow Abby ended up being my favorite character, even though, again, he was a total asshole. I mean, everybody in this book, is just like, you're a jerk.
Lysabelle did nothing wrong. This is Lysabelle Erasure.
Okay, that's true. Lysabelle was a sweetheart for like all 4 pages of screen time.
Lysabelle was a survivor, and that is acknowledged.
Yeah.
When Kier turns to her and she says, "You're better than me," because Lysabelle was the one that insisted fully half the station is innocent, and we are not leaving without them.
No, and she did that from the get-go. She was like, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. She was the soft, pretty one who was assigned as breeding stock from, let's be honest, age fucking 7, and she never stops being strong. She's a survivor. She knows when to smile and when to look pretty and when to keep her head down and when to weaponize the gossip around the station, because she knows everything. She can't fight, so she uses weapons available to her. Lysabelle's my favorite character. This may be obvious.
I think this. You make a strong case. I think this was very very early presaged with the
Abby has been like a victim energy.
The women saying, "I would rather stand 3 times in the battle line than give birth to 1 child."
Yeah. And that's Emily's classics. What's the word I'm looking for? Qualifications coming in, because that is from Euripides. That is how old that poet is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, sorry, we're talking about Abby and I derailed you.
No, that's fine.
Abby's decisions really interest me because as much as, what he does is horrific, You can kind of see how it gets there, though, can't you?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And even just like bring in the queer perspective on the book that he's a second class citizen, and he has been, and he always will be, and no one is gonna give him a buy for that at all, and he's just gonna have to be their technological person because he's not allowed to be anything else. That was horrifying to me.
That to me called back to Alan Turing
Yeah,
and the Enigma machine.
100%.
Kate, why is Abby your favourite character?
Abby is my favorite character because, okay, so two things. One, he doesn't do the easy thing and give in to Magnus's crush, even though these are the only two queer characters with speaking lines in the entire book. Like, yes, there's the other two.
It was alluded to that there were others.
Yeah, like there's clearly other queer people in this. I have to say the book uses queer as a slur. I am not using queer as a slur. That is my preferred term, as my personal identity.
Yeah, same.
Oh,
the queer people signed up to discuss some Desperate Glory.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
So, almost like we saw a rebellion narrative in here that called to us.
Indeed.
So, why is Abby my favorite character? For one thing, he doesn't give in to Magnus, even though it would be the easy thing to do. Like, he's not interested. He doesn't pretend to be interested. And the other reason is that he is trying so hard to be what they want him to be, but he is also at kind of this pressure point between the extremist eugenic tendencies and the fact that their population is so constrained that they can't get rid of him. Like, he's the tech genius. He's one of like the two tech geniuses. So I feel like the way that he was characterized, everything that he did, even the truly horrific things that he did twice. Not the same thing exactly, but
arguably 3 times. It depends on how you read the ending.
That's true.
Personally, I got to the bit where Kira's going off saying you can't kill these people, and I thought, why? Oops, sorry. That's a terrible thing. No, sorry, but those people kind of deserve to be blown up.
They kind of did, honestly.
I get the kids taking the high road and being very on life is sacred, but sometimes it's okay to kill people. In fiction, obviously.
Yeah, yes. Obviously. Of course. But yeah, I think that's it, is that he was characterized so accurately for being at this pressure point and trying to do the thing that he thought would get him out of that point. So is he a nice person? Absolutely not. But hardly anybody in this book is actually a nice person, so...
I think the thing I couldn't forgive him for was torturing Issa. There wasn't really
that was horrible.
To break Issa's fingers. That was horrible. And I get that it was necessary, because that was when Kia looked at that and went, actually, I'm not okay with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again,
should we talk about
how he got there, but...
Should we talk about Yuto?
Yeah, please.
I mean, I think my favourite character is probably Magnus, but we'll come back to that. Yuto was just great. I mean, I thought the way that their character was developed and the way that they talked about the wisdom, how they'd always been connected to it, and they'd always been like, that was what their life was going to be. Like, they had similar parallels to here, in that there was going to be this preordained to how they were going to live and serve and die, and that just doesn't end up happening.
Yeah,
I thought
they're
it was
another
really
character
interesting.
that I think of as a good character, because
Yeah.
they don't have anything evil in them. There's plenty of opportunity where they can hurt people, and it never even occurs.
Oh, they could have screwed the whole thing over multiple times. Yeah.
And the other character who really has never done anything wrong in his life is Magnus.
And Ali,
Yeah.
but he's only 8, so he hasn't had a chance
Okay.
yet.
Yeah.
Of course,
Not counting the only literal non-radicalized child in the story.
I mean, the thing is, we're never really quite sure how old Isha is.
Iso,
Yeah.
They
She
say
actually,
that they
so
are
Kira
12.
actually asked.
sorry, they
and
refer to themselves as 12.
or 15 or 20. Earth years are
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah,
And there's a
it's
big gap
yeah.
between 12 and
Yeah.
20.
Not when you're going to live to be 10,000. There isn't.
That's true. But I mean, at that
They
point,
are
you're
a child.
practically like a larva.
Yeah. It's like hobbits under 50.
Yeah.
I'm just looking back over our notes and what we wanted to talk about. David, you wanted to talk about the men in this book because they're kind of not... They're not the main point of the book, but in particular, Magnus's role in the book is really interesting.
They're not the point of it. The men in this book were really interesting. I like Magnus a lot because he, by the end, he subverts what is meant for him. Like, he's this war-breed warrior person. He's meant to be tough. He's this like big, stocky guy, whatever. And then towards the end, when they're getting all the kids out and he's in the nursery and he's like the protective dad figure for them all, and no one ever. The thing that annoyed me, not annoyed me. I understand
This like big
why it was
stocky guy,
done
whatever.
as a narrative device, but that none of them were ever scheduled for nursery rotation or any of that stuff. And you're like, you're denying. No, but you're denying them that chance to be to have that role.
The violence
There's
to the
no-
men in the book is just as real
Yeah.
as the violence to the women.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's the ultimate of toxic masculinity distilled. And, I mean, Magnus kills himself in what might be the most brutal scene in the whole book.
Yeah.
Because you can, again, see how he sees no way out.
Yeah.
Because he's never been given the chance to be any of these things other than a soldier. And that's what toxic masculinity does.
Yeah. I have to say, I don't think anyone else is going to say it. I did kind of love Orlus Joel in a weird
Oh my
way.
God.
Like, he was so horrible.
I mean, a villain that you absolutely despise with every fibre of your being
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
beautiful narrative construct, isn't it? If you can write that, you're an incredible writer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially the way he went from Uncle Aulus to General Aulus to my sister's rapist to
Oh, yeah.
the perpetrator of this whole system was just absolutely brilliant.
I mean, the only act of sexual violence that you ever see on screen, as it were, is when he forces a kiss on Kira. And I think, without delving into traumatic backstory, I think everybody on this call knows how that feels.
Mm-hmm.
But even though it was something that, on the police scheme of things, is not that severe a crime, oh God, it made my skin crawl reading it.
Yeah, yeah.
It didn't need to be anything worse than what it was, because that was horrific.
Yeah.
And at that moment where she realizes that he's just this small, petty, horrible, ropey rapist and kicks him away, you think, yes, you just found your power as a person.
Yeah.
But then she goes back. Like, she goes back and forth so many times.
Yeah, but by that point, she isn't.
Yeah, that's true.
Because she's already clarified in her mind what he is at that point. Oh, but again, without telling a traumatic backstory, but that scene where he tells her that Ursa was lying and she hovers on believing him. I've lived that.
Mm.
Yeah.
That is singularly true. The way Emily wrote that, it was so authentic. And again, skin crawly reading, you can understand why the character felt the way she did in that moment.
I think these scenes are so impactful because we've experienced it. Like, we've had those friends who are like, somebody says something about them, and you're like, but
But
and
what
like,
if you're wrong?
after you think back, you're like, okay, yes, but then in that moment, you're like,
Yeah.
but I have
Yeah.
all this history with this person, and yeah,
People be complicated, but all
Yeah.
Joel deserve what he fucking got.
yeah, absolutely,
Oh, 100%.
absolute top tier villain.
Yeah. What do you think about the older generation on Gaia Station? Because I thought the characters of Lynn and Harry and Sergeant Sif were really interesting because these are people that, when it comes down to it, they join the rebellion and they're strong and they're leading, but they've sat for decades watching this injustice be perpetrated around them and they haven't acted.
So I thought Harriman and Lynn and Sif were different because Harriman and Lynn were part of the original people who basically got shanghaied into this, and Sif came as a true believer.
And still learned.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really liked the relationship between Harry and Lynn.
Me too.
I particularly liked. Oh, I can't remember page numbers, but there's a moment where someone says that the only thing that they've never thought about on Gaia Station is the ability to have lasting relationships and marriage.
Yeah, it's
That kind of
really
thing.
late.
Page 377.
There we go. Right.
It's good to know I'm not the only person that does.
This, I think, is
I
one
thought
of
that
the
was really interesting
reasons.
because
One of the reasons I liked Abby, because he points out it's all fucked, on purpose. I mean, all this stuff about how sex should be for propagating the species and otherwise it's pointless. You know what Gaia Station doesn't do that humans did before? What? Said
Marry.
Kira? Marriage,
That,
Abby said. Long-term pair bonding. Family. The earth was your mother and humanity is your family, Kira quoted lately.
And you get the feeling that would have fixed them.
I mean,
They would have at least gone away towards fixing them. They would still have been doing the whole you have to fuck to save your species, and I'm with the pandas on this, but
So I think part of the thing about Harriman and Lynn just going along with it is that this, like the older generation, this was all there, which I think is the point. Like all of these tendencies, like the bioessentialism, the homophobia, the racism, they were all there, and they just got concentrated in this one little megalomaniac asteroid belt.
And the racism doesn't even come out until quite late on because Clea, as a famously unreliable narrator, doesn't notice it.
Yeah.
Why would she?
Why would she? Yeah.
It's only when Cleo brings it up.
Yeah, you've got Cleo as the only non-white character, as far as we know, in the entire thing. And even the fact that she isn't white doesn't come up for a bit.
She brings it up in the alternative universe when she gets given her memories of Gaia back, because there is another character that we never meet, who never has a name, who she says, I'm pretty sure that's my brother.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we see him one time.
Yes, because then she sees him again right at the end.
It's when they're doing the evacuation,
Yeah.
because he's the one that Magnus deputizes.
Yeah. What do you think about the alternate, the other world?
Oh, it's broken, isn't it?
I loved it. If
it's
she
broken
ever writes,
in a way that nobody would think it was broken.
if she ever writes anything else that in that universe, I want to get back there. I thought it was great. Like the split level world and all the fancy rich stuff at the top and the shit at the bottom. Like, oh god. So
Oh, isn't it all very nice because we treat the aliens politely and nobody gets beaten for being an alien, but you're keeping them in a fucking shanty town and we know what you're doing.
so good.
It's the smiling face of racism. It's the, let's be honest, the fucking UK right now state of racism.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're voting for people who are gonna, like, boot people of colour out the country, it doesn't matter that you're not racist to their face. You're upholding a system that is hurting these people, and that's exactly what this alternative universe is.
Something I hear a lot as an immigrant to the UK is somebody will say something just absolutely unhingedly racist, and then they realize I'm in the room, and they're like, "Not you, of course. I don't
Not
mean
you. Of course.
Yeah.
But that is what you see in the Earth wasn't destroyed, utopia, everything's great. Isn't everything great? Nobody's forced to breed, nobody's being told they can't be gay. But the aliens are still living in awful conditions and they're still second-class citizens. You're just choosing not to see it.
Yeah.
The moment where she realizes that's not okay and neither is this, it's time to bring it down. That is the narrative, isn't it?
I mean, imagine being put in that position where you essentially sacrifice yourself and everything you know to save the world, and it turns out then you got to go destroy it again.
Yeah. I love that, because the message there is sometimes you got to break shit to build up something new out of the ashes. I think that's a really important message. Sorry, I promised I wouldn't get political. I didn't.
This was going nowhere about political, let's be honest.
Oh, no. It's a political book at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Set in a beautiful sci-fi universe that asks, what if?
My question was going to be, what parallels could you draw with something like The Handmaid's Tale or Ender's Game or those kinds of, like, a society which is deliberately built on something that is already so broken?
Oh, yeah, War is a Game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ender's Game, The Day After Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah.
You can go back further.
Yeah.
War Games. The only way to win is not to play.
Yep.
But Avi calls them out when I think Kier says to him, "This isn't a game," and Avi says, "Yes, it is."
I have that one bookmarked too. So many bookmarks.
Yeah, of course it's a game. They are running scenarios where they watch the world end and everybody die thousands of times.
Yeah.
And it has to be a game because how else can we do it?
Yeah. The Kier says, "Is that what you did with my brother, wasting his time, treating like the Agoj like a game?" "The Agoj is a game," said Abby. "The Agoj is training for war, if you say so."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And actually, I think you see that when Kier actually has to kill somebody, and she's only ever done it in a game.
Yeah.
You see it as well when Avi makes the decision to snuff out those worlds. It's a game to Avi in that moment.
Yeah.
Avi doesn't see trillions of people dying.
He sees winning the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the level of desensitization there is accurate to radicalization, I think.
Yeah.
I haven't actually had any time to do any research into it, but I wonder how this reflects the current trends towards drone warfare and, remote control wars.
Absolutely.
Where
they touch on it in Star Trek.
Yeah.
There's an episode in Star Trek where they push a button to wipe out an amount of the population.
And of course, there's the whole Kobayashi Maru scenario, which is supposed to treat you that teach you that there are games you can't win.
And then Kurt cheated.
And then you cheat.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what Magnus and Abby do.
Yeah.
Right back at the beginning. They cheat the scenario. What do you think about that?
I think it really highlights how the point of the scenario was never to
It's quite deep, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the idea of the perfect child soldier, Kirk Magnus, choosing in this moment, I just want to beat it to prove it can be done. And not learning the message that the unwinnable scenario is meant to impart.
But then I think that speaks to the radicalization element as well, because there comes that point towards the end where you realize when Kira's out when she's outside and Joel is stood there and she realizes that he's never actually beaten it.
Yeah. He left.
And she has by that point.
Yeah. The other thing I'm thinking about is, there's this whole thing with missionary religions where the point of the missionary trip isn't to convert people because you can't.
It's to isolate
the missionary. To isolate you and bring you back in, like, more sure that it's us against them.
Yeah.
Oh, movie recommendation. Heretic, Hugh Grant.
Oh, I do need to do that.
You do need to watch that.
Yeah.
You'll really enjoy it. But it takes those themes, the idea of the cult being about othering the missionary rather than about converting people. And as a low-budget horror, there's a line that Abby says that I think echoes through the book, and it really brings home the concept of the radicalization. Abby says to Kia, "What broke you?" And every single character in the story has a breaking point. You can trace each one and look at what it was that broke them and what that says about their character. For Magnus, it was the fact that he was never going to be allowed to be gay. He was never going to be anything other than the perfect child soldier. That broke him pretty early on. What even was it for Kia? For me, I think it was when she's standing in the mess and she's in the final scenario and they all have their little flimsies that says what their assignment is. Her says command, aide de camp to Joel, and all the other girls are jeering at her and saying, "Oh, it's everything you ever wanted." And she looks at them and she says, "Joel raped my sister." And everybody stops.
That's the only time. That's the only time that she uses the word.
It's the only time in the book.
It's the only time anyone uses the word.
Yeah.
It's like that doesn't even exist as a class of.
Assuming I'm the one that's frozen.
You are frozen, actually. Oh no, you're not.
There you go. There you go.
All I was saying is, I think that's the moment when the mirror shatters. And all of the girls are actually looking at each other for the first time. Because it's at that scene that she says to them, "I'm not leaving any of you behind." And I cannot get to that line. It's on page 322. I can't get to that line without crying. Because I'm like, that should have been the way you felt on page 10. And it couldn't be because you had to go through everything that you went through to hit that final breaking point.
That's the point where they're actually people to her instead of slightly inconvenient group work partners.
Yeah. But you can do it with each of them if you want to. If you want to go through and say, "What broke you?"
Yeah.
I think Cleo's happens off screen pretty early on. Because even in the first set of assignments, she's already terrified. She's already being glib and sarcastic about nursery. I think she's already broken. The shine's already off it for her.
I suspect it was way back, probably when it became clear that her skin was too dark to ever beat Kier.
Yeah,
Even
and that's something that we don't touch on because Cleo's not explored that much as a character.
Yeah.
It's not her story at the end of the day.
Yeah.
No.
It does give me feels, though, about found family, about the sisterhood that the Sparrows find themselves in. The moment where they've all put down the badges that they were assigned and they've put a Sparrow badge back on their uniform. And you think, this is how it was meant to be. This is what you're meant to be for each other.
This is the first time they actually chose that instead of being forced into it by, I assume, being the same age.
Yeah. It's the first time they're family.
Yeah.
And I think one of the main themes of the book that is pulled out on the blurb is about found family. But a lot of books talk about that. This one does it in a way that is completely unique. Like, I've read a lot of books about found family. I tend to buy them.
Yeah.
For reasons. But yeah, the way it's done in this book is completely blown out the water from other ways of addressing the same point.
Yeah. Because, you know, there's even the point towards the end when, obviously right at the beginning when Zen says, I never liked you, but then that keeps getting recalled, and even right at the end it's still the same. They're not there to like each other, but they have to choose to be on the same side.
You don't always like your family.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
You love them.
Yeah.
Ideally, yes.
Well, I'm talking about found family as much as birth family here, but
yeah,
it was the moment where you find out that the two lesbians in the Sparrows, what happened to them, that somebody reported them, one of them was sent to nursery. That Kia has no emotional reaction to that, and it's like a slap in the face as a reader.
I have to say that was probably one of the most affecting moments in the book. That chilled me.
yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah,
Horrible.
it sends chills down your spine, doesn't it?
What it implies is just
Yeah.
Actually, I want to talk about this. So in the second part of the book, Kier and Lisa have a date, and Kier decides she's a lesbian. And this is probably the only part of the characterization that doesn't ring true. Because
Really?
every other part of, like, every time Kier encounters sexuality, she is characterized as asexual. You know, when her brother says something about being queer, she's like, oh, that's just sex stuff. She's very dismissive.
Yeah.
She's really dismissive about the other girls. Like, her problem with going to nursery seems to be hate kids, hate sex, ew. So, I mean, obviously people do change, and of course there's demisexuality and other forms of, sexuality other than just the binary of straight or gay. But it was the only part of the characterization that just didn't quite hit for me.
I think there's a difference here between Kia and Val.
Yeah.
The reason I think Kia has that really visceral reaction is because sex stuff to her means coercion, force, hetero.
Yeah.
But Val is allowed to explore and feel things that are different and comes to a sort of creeping, like, I want to date this beautiful girl, maybe just this one. There's no discussion of her ever having dated anyone else or felt anything for anyone else. So that, for me, read as Val is demisexual or asexual and queer romantic.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas for Kia, there was never that option. And we're not necessarily the exact same person if we're put through completely different experiences.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a big part of the last third of the book when they have these two kind of conflicting personalities.
I think you're queer no matter what, but where exactly you pin on the queer spectrum depends on your experiences.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
So that didn't pop out as jarring to me, but it popped out as when you've got the space to bloom, when you've got the space to be safe and explore, maybe this is where it goes.
It's a good point.
But she doesn't have any kind of romantic or sexual moment with Lisbel when she goes back to Gaia. The only thing she does have is this abiding respect for her when she realizes you are so much better than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I think I didn't even realize Lisa and Lisabel were supposed to be the same person. They were so different in their characterization. Lisa was just this.
Give it away.
I don't know. I mean, there's soft girls everywhere in this life. Okay.
Not in this book, there aren't.
That's true. That's true. But
I liked alternative universe Lisa because, again, she was soft, but with this core of strength. She is dating this woman who is fleet, who is part of a military that is everything she disagrees with, and she faces her head on and tells her that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is
I
a
thought
quiet
that
kind of
was-
strength.
I thought that was really interesting. The political difference between them. I would have liked to have seen that more explored. Actually, I thought that was really, really interesting narrative technique. It was great.
I mean, this book could have been 5 books, couldn't it? Every single
100%.
part, you could easily have made it into its own story. There was so much scope and so much material. I'm
Yeah.
kind of grateful she kept it to one novel because meant
Yeah.
to be read pile is big.
That is true. But I would probably have just kept going through a series. But
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was there till the end. But some of the books were a lot more depressing.
yeah.
If we were to look at the ending, what do we think of that?
I have a bit of a cheat code on this one because when Emily was guest of honor for NovaCon, she did a short story, which was a 7,500 word short that it was essentially another chapter of that.
Okay.
And it follows Avicenna. What happens
Okay.
after the ship lands on Chrysothemis. So Emily does say, I think, in the acknowledgements at the back, that she likes stories where everything isn't tied up neatly. You don't know exactly what happens to everybody. And that's okay, because you're allowed to use your imagination for the jumping off point. Actually, it might have been the forward for the short that she did for NovaCon. I have copies, by the way, if either of you want.
I very much do, yes.
Yeah, I'll grab a couple. I'm sure Steve has some.
Yes,
They
please.
were very popular.
I know.
But yeah, the ending
I
is very. It's kind of a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I
So-
had conflicting feelings about it. I think the way in which the way in which the ship just leaves and then it's Paradiso at the end and they're looking over the thing, I thought it was lovely. I
You wanted
feel
them
like
to die, didn't you, David?
yes, and
Yeah.
do you know what? The thing that annoys me is that she set it up that way, and then she pulls the punch at the end.
Yeah.
And that actually, it did grate on me a little bit because I was like, she's done so much work to get them to that point, and then she just Deus Ex Machina, isn't it?
Yeah.
I
And
do
I was
wonder.
like, no.
I do wonder if that was what Emily really wanted, or if that was an editorial decision from the publisher, because they do like
Maybe.
to give us happy endings.
Yeah.
The fact that it was set up in an early chapter where suddenly she's beamed aboard with no explanation, and you forget about it.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah,
move on.
there's so much
It'll
happening.
explain
Oh, it was
that.
really clever. Yeah.
I honestly read that, got to the ending, and thought, you wrote that all the way through straight and then went back and added that in, didn't you? Because you needed to in order to have them survive.
Yeah.
But so me and Dave had the same argument about Tangled. At the end of Tangled, I promise I'm getting to a point
All right, go on.
where Flynn cuts off Rapunzel's hair so that she can't save his life, to save her from her mother. And then somehow the magic comes to her anyway one last time so that she can save him. And I was like, you completely cheapened his sacrifice. so that you could have a Disney happy ending. You didn't need to do that. He should have died. Let him die. She could have gone off strong, her loving relationship with her parents, and lived in his memory. You didn't need to Disneyfy the ending, and it cheapened the whole narrative.
Yeah.
When you said you got to the end and you had opinions, I thought, I know exactly what he's thinking.
So
he's thinking that moment, it should have been like the end of Rogue One, where Jin and Cassian are hugging as the nuclear blast comes towards them, and you know that they die.
I have a counterexample of an earned happy ending after absolute disaster. Okay, people, I'm about to spoil you, this is your warning, the ending of the Nightshade God by Hannah Whitten. So this is a story of a love triangle. There's two guys and a girl. Everybody's cis in this story, so just take that as expected. So they decide they're going to have this poly relationship. They have a big fight with the god of this world, and two of them die. And the third one of them, so basically all of the magic in this world comes from a well, and the third one of them bargains with the well to get them back. And basically the well says, I will give them back to you for a normal lifespan, but in return you owe me 500 years of service. Keep in mind, she's a normal human at this point. So she serves it, and the last quarter of this book is just 500 years of grinding service until she gets them back. And then basically they walk off on the last page. So obviously there was not a quarter of a quarter of a book to devote to this, but I do slightly wish it had been a little bit more than, accidental teleport.
I mean, I like the ending. It works narratively. I can see an ending where Yiso and Kia are in the Agog, in the garden that Abby built for Magnus, and Yiso's playing with her hair, and she's touching Yiso's flukes, and they have the chat at the end of all things, and then it ends. And I think that would have been equally beautiful and a lot brave.
Yeah. I do kind of like the wisdom becoming a character at the last minute. Because up to that point, it was just this kind of disembodied technology.
Yeah, I have full opinions on wisdom. I mean, as a narrative construct, I think it's flawless, brilliantly executed. But yeah, what do you do when you're a god machine in charge of countless lives and you can't figure out a way to make them all happy? Because how would you? Life is complicated. You have been built to fail, like the machine that gives the answer 42 in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. But I understand the mentality of the species that built it. The idea of indecision and doubt, and everything we do hurts people and is wrong. Let's create a machine that teaches us how to get a perfect outcome that can't exist.
Or at least the best outcome, which we can't.
Which,
if we get the best outcome, it's luck.
Hey, the best outcome was the death of Earth.
Yeah.
Think about that for a minute.
Is anyone else slightly concerned that that's only like 30 years in the future, given our current population growth rate?
So my retirement plan is the heat death of the universe.
Retirement?
Basically,
what's that?
I'm just looking back over our notes of things that we talked about before this call about what we wanted to discuss.
We haven't
7
really
minutes talked about the tension between eugenics and bioessentialism, and that was something you wanted to talk about, Kate.
Yeah, I kind of touched on it a little bit, explaining why I liked Abby as a character.
Yeah.
But I do think that was very interesting, because in kind of historic, highly eugenic societies, there's always been this narrative that some people are over reproducing, and there is no over reproduction. I mean, first of all, can we talk about the fact that they apparently lose 1 in 3 women assigned to the nursery in childbirth? That is worse than ancient Rome, okay? That is a horrific death rate. Okay, that strongly suggests they're just like locking them in the room and leaving them there until they're dead or have a baby. I don't know.
Yeah, actually touches on this in the final chapters. She talks about dissidents, about any women who might complain about the system and the society, and sometimes they just don't come back, and hey, everyone knows nursery women just die sometimes.
Yeah.
The heavy implication there being that the ones who don't like their nursery assignment are left to die in childbirth.
I mean, that suggests that, like, the fighters have the same thing. I mean, people just die in battle, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was Jean who died because of fighter darts there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't one of the lesbian characters, which I read a couple of times.
No, I think it was
Jean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Badly maintained equipment.
Yeah, that was it.
I just think it's really interesting that, you know, they have all of these different sections, you know, the war breed and the nursery and the ferox and all of this stuff. They don't seem to have like a medical wing or any of that stuff, and it's like, what? How?
You get the impression that the attrition is the point. It's an easy way for them to get rid of people who don't march to the right drum.
Well, I was just about to say it's because having a medical wing doesn't suit Joel's purpose.
Absolutely.
And they are also very constrained on resources, and it's strongly implied that at least some of their agricultural capacity is put towards growing drugs for export, which
didn't pick up on that at all.
Yeah.
There's that moment where
I get it. Yeah.
The other world and the two people like, well, we used to shifting product.
Yeah, we're used to shifting exports. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Wow, I just straight over my head. But even though they're constrained on resources, they couldn't give their tech genius a pair of glasses?
That's the thing.
Give their head of systems wheelchair?
Yeah. That's the thing.
They made a decision not to.
Yeah, because the older people, they have implants, they have tech, they have these things.
That was pre-Gaia, though. That was during the Marco Wars.
Sure, but, I mean, glasses are not high-tech.
No, they're not.
You do get the sense that they lost a lot of knowledge, because it's not just that. They say, like, these trees can't be cloned, so these are the only trees there ever are. Most trees you can graft onto a rootstock. They're fine. That's how trees work.
And how much of that knowledge was lost because, as David said, it didn't fit all of Joel's vision. Yeah. It wasn't important to him, therefore it's not important to Gaia. There are so many layers. I mean, we could go into this for days.
Oh, we could easily do.
Unfortunately, we have 2 minutes left.
Okay. So, wrap up with favourite bits of the book?
I think, for me, my favourite bit is Magnus's realization at the end that he can be the protector and a good person for people and a role model. He doesn't have to be this like horrible war criminal.
Okay.
I think probably when Kier begins to realize that aliens are actually people, that there isn't this divide.
For me, it's the moment where she turns to her mess and says, "We're bringing this down, and I'm not leaving anything behind." That every time, I could read it 100 times and I'd cry at the same point. Yeah. This has been
Well, this was
fantastic.
lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if anybody's actually watching, thank you.
Thank you very
And
much.
so next month we are reading Futures by Tom something. Wait a second.
Go and buy some Desperate Glory.
Yes.
If you haven't read it
Yes,
already,
you should.
I'm sorry we've horrifically spoiled the entire thing for you.
Okay, we have not spoiled The Incandescent whatsoever, and
Oh
that
my
is also
god.
amazing. So go read that
The
too.
Incandescent. I
I'm
described
very
it in my
excited about
review
that.
as a love letter and a searing indictment of the English educational system.
At the same
Excellent.
time. Yes.
Both at the same time. The absolute duality of it. But you can tell that that was written by a teacher.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's the magic school book to redeem all magic school books.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be reading it soon. Okay,
All
great
right.
to see you both. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Night, everyone.